Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Rebel Rider here today. If you tuned into the last video, you would have seen that the VS chick did a video on all of the reasons why she bought the Vulcan over the Rebel. And I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to voice my rebuttal. So yeah, this video I'm going to go over all of the reasons why I picked the Rebel over the Vulcan. We ended up with both of the bikes anyway. And that's it. Play the intro music now. First things first, before I even started riding, I always loved the look of the Vulcan. What? What did you say? I always loved the look of the Vulcan.
Alright, that's the end of the video. Done.
Like, I had mates who had them, like a orange tank maybe, and I just thought, man, that is the coolest bike. Never sat on one, didn't know anything about bikes. And then when I started riding, I rode the scooter, and then I got the CBR 125 and the CBR 300, and I was like, you know what, like, maybe it is an option. And then I sat on one, and I was just immediately, my mind was like, nah, I can't ride this. So when I sit on it, because I'm shorter and my legs are like full stretch, arms full stretch, all of that, I just don't want to ride it in case I get out on the road and I just, I have an accident because of those reasons. It was all just about finding the bike that was a good size for me, because I had an accident on the CBR 300 and I just thought, like, I couldn't really touch the ground properly on it. I didn't feel like I had full control over it. So when I was buying my next bike, I just said, like, no, I need to have full control over it. That is what steered me away from the Vulcan, because, like I said, that was the bike that I was like fully into to begin with. Like, one of the main reasons why I went with the Rebel, because I can sit flat-footed, I can, reach, like, I'll just sit comfortably on it and I don't have to worry about, like, not being strong enough or in full control over it. When I sat on it, I just immediately knew, like, this is the bike for me. This is the one. So that's the number one reason. Number one reason, comfort. Yeah, so apart from love at first sight, there are other reasons why I love it. It's super lightweight, and like I said before, I'm not very tall and I'm not very strong. I'll be the first to admit it, I'm quite weak. So a light bike was, something that I really did need, again, to feel like I had full control over it. So I feel like I can throw it around corners, I can maneuver it, when you're doing your little duck waddle. Well, I do anyway, because I'm not strong enough to move it without sitting on it. It's easy to ride around town. On the highway, it's got enough weight in it that I'm not getting blown around. It's a good weight for me. And even just moving the Vulcan around, even just to set up this video, and I'm doing my little duck waddle, I just don't feel quite comfortable holding it up. Comfort, weight, the look of it, man, it is a pretty bike. It's so pretty. It's just really neat and tidy. The Vulcan's like chunky. The Rebel, I think it's just like, it's really streamlined. I really, really like the look of it. And wherever we go, people always ask, oh, what kind of bike is that? Over the Vulcan. And I've done a couple of bits and pieces to it, put the windscreen on, different rack, different exhaust, brake and clutch levers, little bits and pieces, really like super customizable. There is so many aftermarket pieces that you can put onto them. You can make it your own. Like, I can't imagine there would be two of the same bike with all exactly the same mods, unless somebody's been watching these videos. The other thing with the weight is that because it is super lightweight and it's a 500, the acceleration is so quick, like it's so fast off the mark. We've had like a couple of funny little like racers who gets off the line first at the traffic lights, and this is a 650 and this is a 500, and I always leave her in the dust. Now that she could be just making me feel good about myself. I like to believe that it does have really quick acceleration, and that it's probably to do with the weight of the bike. It's super lightweight, so straight off the mark. You give it a little bit and you're gone. It's so smooth to ride. Between gears, so accelerating between gears, it's really, really smooth, and your engine braking isn't quite as harsh as the Vulcan. I guess it slows down much quicker. Like you roll off the throttle and you're just immediately slowing down. With the Rebel, you can roll off the throttle and you've got a bit of cruising time, and it's much smoother when you're shifting down in gears. It's got like these real chunky tires. I think that looks so cool. Practicality, like I'm sure it doesn't make that much of a difference for me for the riding that I do because it's mostly on road. But there have been a few times where we've gone off-road, like camping spots that we've been by the beach, and it turns out like we got to a camping spot one time in Bagara. It was just like sand, and my bike just handled it so well. Yeah, like the tires, like the fatter, chunkier tires, man, they just look cool. And I guess they're practical if you're wanting to do like ride on gravel or sand or whatever. I reckon they just look cool. The last thing that was a big like selling point is the price. I got a really great deal on this bike. It was practically new, but I'd been looking for one, just wanted to get a second-hand one, didn't really want to spend the money on a new one. In saying that, new ones actually are pretty reasonably priced for a new bike. Maybe VS Chick can do some research while she's editing and find out what the difference is. In saying that, like, you know, I got a great deal on it. It's a 2019 model, and I got it in 2020, beginning of 2020. So it was reasonably new. It only had 52 kilometers on the clock. So yeah, I just snatched that up. I got straight onto it. I think it had been up for about 20 minutes on Marketplace when I found it, and drove to Brisbane the next day to pick it up. And yeah, just the price. Yeah, so ultimately, the main reason why I prefer the Rebel over the Vulcan is just because when I sat on it, I just knew this is the bike for me. Overall comfort and confidence that I feel when I ride it. Whatever bike I was going to sit on and that was going to give me that feeling, I would say is better than the Vulcan. They're both fantastic bikes in their own way. They both have their pros and their cons. But at the end of the day, it's whatever bike you're going to sit on, you're going to ride, and you're going to feel most comfortable, confident, and like have the most fun on. And that's going to depend on how tall or short or whatever you are. If you want to know all of the reasons to buy the Vulcan over the Rebel, go and watch the last video that the VS Chick put out. She had a lot of great things to say about it. And yeah, like I said at the beginning, ultimately we're both winners because we both got the bike that we feel the most comfortable on. Yeah, that's it. I guess we'll leave it at that. I hope this is a good video. I'm all on my own. VS Chick's on a work trip at the moment, so I thought I'd film my rebuttal while she was away. So I hope that the camera worked. I hope that it all looks good. Yeah, anyway, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Whatever people say when they do outros. Yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Other stuff. Hello. Maybe it's the bike for Susie as well. Which one do you prefer? Jump on the one that you prefer. Oh, she's going over the Vulcan. Maybe she prefers the Vulcan. That's dumb.